Welcome to today's Wednesday webinar. It is the first Wednesday of June, which boggles my mind, of 2018. And so we are going to be talking about completing and submitting your annual Troop Finance Report on the Volunteer Toolkit. And I'm super excited because we've got Kate McCarthy in the room, our volunteer support manager, who is the aficionado on all things Volunteer Toolkit, but especially I think the champion really for this finance report, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I love the finance report. I think it's so helpful to have it through this tab. I think it's great.
Right. I mean, it's at our fingertips and super simple. It is new. In the past, we've always submitted this with a hard copy or even a fillable, a writable PDF. But this year, everybody will be submitting it via the Volunteer Toolkit. So we're just going to jump right into it and go look at it. Now, Kate, I'm sure the first question on some people's mind is, what if I don't use the Volunteer Toolkit? What do they have to do?
Well, you can just try to log in if you have not logged in before. I know we have really good usage rates, so a lot of people are in there already. But if you have any trouble getting in, you can give us a call and talk to customer care. If they need to reset your password for you, we can help you with that. The other kind of tips and tricks, if you're having an issue with using the VTK, it works much better through Google Chrome. So we recommend if you go to log in that you're using Google Chrome. And if you do have any other issues, it looks funny, you may want to clear your history, and that should help as well.
Nice. Now, if you do not have Google Chrome and you're thinking, I don't know how to download that, give a call, because one of us here is happy to walk you through that step. It's easier than it sounds like it's going to be. But I know some folks don't do that. I live the nerd, and so I learned how to do that kind of thing early on. That's really great. So if you go to the Girl Scouts of Maine website, and those of you who are in the VTK, which I know is most of the people listening, it's going to be a piece of cake. But in case you haven't been there before, go to the Girl Scouts of Maine website, and over here you'll see My GS and VTK. I logged in earlier, so I think mine's already going to be logged in. But you click on Volunteer Toolkit, and if you are not logged in, it'll ask you for your password and your login information, which is the same. If you've been in My GS, which I know everybody, all troops have been in My GS, right? Then you've got that. And then it just, instead of clicking your member profile, click Volunteer Toolkit. And Kate, we've had a bunch of people in the cadet one this week, so I'm going to go to the Brownie, tab and see if it's a little bit different. So you're in your troop, and if you've been using it, you see your plan that you've been looking at, and here the Finances tab is what you're going to click on. And there it is, Annual Troop Finance Report for 2017-2018. And that is where we are interested. So do you want to walk through this, and I'll just be Vanna here?
That sounds great. So this is very streamlined, I think. We did used to have, a dot form, you could fill it out online or you could print it out. But this way, you just have to enter everything right here. And there are some little helpful tips. You can see at the top, it just says that this is due June 21st this year.
Where does it say that?
It's right here if you're in, so you see Annual Troop Finance Report.
The very first sentence.
First line is June 21st. And then next to this in the green here, you can click on that and it will link you through. You can see the Superstar Troop Challenge paperwork if you need that, and also the service unit names and numbers. I know a lot of people are aware of their service unit name, but the number not so much. A lot of people don't know that. So say you're in Frenchman's Bay, your service unit number is SU639. It does ask you in the report to enter the service unit number. So we put that here just to help people out because we are more familiar with the names.
And that's going to go in down here a little bit, right?
Yes. Yep. It goes down a little bit further.
Right, service unit name. So you put in Frenchman's Bay and then SU639 right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'll go back up.
So then you just start with your very basic information. We do this all just in one number, so you don't have to break it down by, your income from cookies or your income from fall. It's just your total income for the year for your troop.
Nice.
So once you enter that into the all income line, it should fill it right into that gray box with the
Right.
total for you.
Right. So,
That was just there to tabulate for councils that have, you know, a variety of lines, but for us, it will just put your same information there.
so say we earned $5,000, it auto loads right there.
Yeah.
And if we, what kind of note would we maybe have?
So you can, if you know, if you had like a negative income for some reason, or you just have a high income, you can put a note in there and let us know why. But typically, I don't think people have to put a lot of information there.
There, you don't have to do that, but that's what I'm putting in a note so you see. Okay, and then expenses.
Yep. So then expenses is just the one thing. So all of your expenses tally together. You can put right in there, you know, whether you went to camp or bought badges or paid for membership dues, all of that would go right in there. You can see that autofills. Yep. And then what you'll see, I think if you scroll down just a little bit, yeah. So then in the summary, it's going to give you your income and expenses. If you would put a starting balance, then that would be there. Your ending balance. So Dawn is showing an ending balance of $1,000, which is a little bit higher than we would typically.
Well, and it's going to be more because I just put in that we started with 500. So that is a lot.
Yeah. And so with all of that money, we would want to know why. So this is where the note line is more important, because we do want troops to spend their accounts down each year unless they're saving for a big trip. So if you have more than 250, if you could put a note in here as to why, that would be great. I know we've got troops who are going to the Museum of Science and saving for that, maybe going to, you know, going to one of the Costa Rica trips or something along those lines. So they have a significant balance, and we just want to know why that is.
Where these are brownies. I don't even like that they're going to the Boston Museum of Science, but I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying.
Yep. So that's all the information that we need as far as your financial summary. So it's not really, there's not really a ton of information that has to go in there, but it does give you a brief view of what the troop has for an ending balance, and parents can see this information if they log in as well. So parents can only see what is above this orange line. So they can see the income, the expenses, and just that summary, but they cannot see, once you're past that, they can't see the information that you put into this report.
Can they see the notes? Can parents see the notes?
I believe so, yes. Yep.
Okay.
Good. And so then under that, this bank information is not something that parents or the public could see. This is private information. So we do ask that you put in your bank name and branch name and the last four numbers of the account. And then we want to know the signers, and we will cross-check that here to make sure that we have the same information that you've submitted with your bank information form. And that way we can see too if anything has been updated or your signers have changed anything along those lines. So once the name is filled in, like you can see Dawn put her name in and then it dropped down so we could add another signer. So every troop, of course, should have 2 signers, and you can put both of their information there. I know some troops might have another bank account. A lot of credit unions ask that you open a savings account before you can open a checking account. You can put that information in the other bank account line if you need to do that.
Right.
That is pretty much all of the bank and finance information that is in this report. And then a lot of the other information is about what your troop has done and what you are looking to do next year. So you can click on what is the status of your troop for next year, if you're going to disband or merge or you're returning as is. We would love to know that information. So put that there, then your service unit.
There, because I happen to know those. And then go through and answer each of these, because they all say required, right?
Yes, so everything is required. If you answered above in the notes what you're doing with a greater ending balance, you can put, you can just put NA here so that it will fill it and you can move on. But if you have less than 250 and you know what you're going to do with that, just let us know. You may be planning to pay dues in the fall or buy some uniforms. And then it's asking if you created a volunteer toolkit year plan. So you can let us know here, and you can tell us the year plan you created if you want to. You don't have to though. And then the journeys your troop worked on.
See, my fantasy job is to be a brownie leader all the time.
I know you've got this all worked out. That's what you want. And then badges and patches that your troop earned. So all of this information we do use. It's very important for us to know what troops are doing and what is working out the best for troops and what's the most interesting. So then what council-sponsored programs that you went to. If you attended any service unit sponsored programs or events, we'd love to know that as well.
My favorites. 3 favorite troop activities this year. So many choices. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3 because I don't know. But I would list things because, and this kind of stuff, they could have the girls sit with them and brainstorm some of these things, right? Whether they can fill it out right then, or they could just take notes with the girls at a meeting if you don't have internet access.
Right, and that's a really good point, is that it is excellent if you can have, because we want troops to be girl-led, if you can have your girls help you fill out this form at the end of the year so you can hear their thoughts too, because they may have very different ideas about their favorite troop activities this year than what you have. So I think it is important to tie the girls in and have them help you answer this.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice way to help them remember what they did too.
Mm-hmm.
Bump, bump.
So another piece of this too, as you go through these questions, if you run out of time or you got to leave, something comes up, this will autosave. So if you were to log out of the VTK at this point and come back in 2 days, all of the information that you have filled in it will still show. It will autosave. It will say who was working on it. So the name of, like Dawn's name will say, and it will say Dawn was working on this on June 6th at this time, and it will save it at that point. So you can go in and you can add to it. Another troop leader could go in and add more information. So it will do that continuously, and you can see who was in last.
Right. See, right here is where it tells that. And just to give you an example, so you're not just seeing me, if I go to one of the other level troops, like I know Elaine and Jeannie have been in the cadet tab for the finances, it shows that Jeannie worked on it on May 28th and that she made some edits there. So you're able to kind of communicate with each other. Definitely, before you submit it, make sure that both signers have looked at it, because, I would hate for my signature to be on something that I hadn't looked over, and I wouldn't want to do that to my co-leader either. So, if you're the super organized one who goes in and does all of it, that's awesome. But make sure that your other troop signer takes time to look it over and make sure that she feels comfortable or he feels comfortable with all of the responses. So there's that. So now, before we can submit, I think I have to have all of them answered. There are several questions here, aren't there? But they don't. None of the answers has to be terribly long, and I think that's a thing.
Yeah, you don't have to write a ton, and if it's not something that applies to you, just fill it out with NA or not applicable, or you can write anything in there just to fill the lines since they are required.
Right. Like just a period, right? And that'll be enough.
That'll be enough.
Okay.
And these questions are all the questions that we've asked for the last several years. So largely the same as what we had on our paper forms before.
Right. Which is nice. And I always tell people, it's not because we're checking up on you. It's because there are a lot of troops and we don't know what everybody's doing. And how awesome is it for us to be able to get from you and your girls what you've been doing all year, so that we can say, hey, look at all these troops that did journeys or did the Wonders of Water journey specifically. Or look at all these troops that received unsolicited donations. That's awesome.
Magic. So good. Yeah, so this, all this information is very helpful to us. And we do ask, what your plans are for next year and what
Mhm.
grades your girls will be in and things like that, so that we can update the opportunity catalog and make sure that we have the most accurate information for your troop.
Right.
So all of the information is important, and a lot of different departments here at Girl Scouts of Maine will use this information too.
Right. So if a troop said, yes, we're splitting into two troops, would they be
Mm-hmm.
contacted by their volunteer support specialist or by
Yeah, you'll likely hear from volunteer support or from placement to find out exactly what you're doing, and if you needed another troop number or something, we can offer that as well. And if you don't hear from us, of course, you're always welcome to call, and we can help you out if you do need another troop number or you want to change something in the opportunity catalog. If you decide you want to take 15 girls instead of 12, just give us a call and let us know. We're happy to update that information. And then as we get to the bottom of this, you can see here, you can preview your finance report and kind of see what you have put in and make sure that it's the correct information. And you can go back and edit the report if you need to.
Oopsie,
Yep.
we didn't start with 500. We started with another 5, or we only started with 50. Oh, well, okay, got a little moody on me there. There, we only started with 50. So that changes, that changes the balances and everything, which might make things match up. Good, okay. And then,
so if you go back to the bottom and hit preview, it's going to get you to that, so you can see what you've got.
oh, because I got a preview again, right? Check. Yeah. Okay.
And then you can scroll through, make sure you have all the correct information. And once you get to the, we might need to put in the branch name there.
Number, yeah, okay. Let's go in and edit. It wouldn't let me. Oh, maybe it just doesn't care. Whoop, but branch number 1, because there's only one, I think. Okay. And then there are some of these other questions that I didn't answer. Do you need me to put answers in them so it'll?
Yeah, I'd put something in, and then, well, we don't actually have to submit it. You can just go to the preview and it will show us where the submit thing is. But if you were having an issue like it won't let you submit, it could be because you missed a required question. So just go back in and fill it, and then it should let you go all the way through.
What's nice too is, and it doesn't seem to be showing my little periods that I'm putting in there, but what's nice is it puts it in red if you skip it, so you know.
So way down at the bottom,
right.
So now it looks like everything has been answered.
Oh, it didn't like those. Okay, well, let's see if it let me.
Put in a little more. Right. But you can see here it says send report to council. It's due June 21st. It will show you who is submitting it. And if Dawn were to hit send right now, it would submit it to us, and it would put a timestamp on this that says Dawn submitted it on June 6th at such and such a time. So you can see, if you were to go back in, you could see exactly when this was submitted and you could know that it went through to us. The other piece here that's important is that you can attach things. So any documents that you want to put here, this is where you would put your last month's bank statement. That's the most important part. So you want to attach the statements, and then also if you are doing the Super Troop Challenge, you can attach it here. I believe it's up to 3 documents that you can attach.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yep. So the statement is the most important, but please put your Super Troop Challenge in there if you've done that as well. That would be great. And then once you hit send, you will see a timestamp so that you know that this went through.
Right. You can't tell, but it's not letting me click this send because there are things that are not completed. So it's not going to let me send, and it's not going to let me attach anything until I finish answering these questions. But this line right here, any documents you want to send can be attached after, gave me total palpitations the other day when I was trying to find it, because it's gray and it does not jump out. So if you know to look for it, you're all set. And we're hoping to make everybody aware to look for it. So I'll be posting that picture I just took so people can see it.
That will be helpful. Yeah, that's good.
Just to draw people's attention to it. Even the exclamation point didn't jump out for me. I was just like, where is it? Okay, so anything else with this that people need to know, Kate?
Our 2 important notes here, and we will put this in an email and also on our social media pages, is that the VTK will be closed for one date in June, June 15th. The website will be down for 24 hours because of just total website revamping that GSUSA is doing. So the 15th it will be closed, and then the VTK, after the deadline, the VTK will be closing at 8 p.m. on June 29th, and it will be closed for about like a week and a half until July 9th, or the week of July 9th. They haven't given us the exact date because they're going to do enhancements. They're going to archive information for your troop year plans, that kind of thing. They'll do all of that and clean it up and then reopen it so that you can go in and do your next year's planning. If you have not renewed already for 2019, after that June 29th close date, you will not be able to access the VTK until you renew again for 2019. So if you did early renewal, you're all set. You can, there will be no break except for while it's closed, but you'll be able to go right back in. But if you have not renewed, it won't let you in. So once you do renew, you can get right back in there.
And that's a huge reason why we put the date as June 21st, because folks who've been leaders for a long time know it's usually July 1st. But we wanted to make sure nobody got stuck in that limbo land of being locked out of the Volunteer Toolkit. And so my thought is, as soon as that bank statement arrives, get in there and just do it and be done with it.
And we have had several troops who've already submitted it, which is great. And if you're done and you want to use your statement from May, just use that. Use whatever is the most recent one. You can close this and submit it whenever you feel that you're ready and your troop is done for the year. Some troops do end in the middle of May and they just submit it right away and they're done and they take a long break over the summer. Any way that you want to do that in any time is fine.
Right. And troops have already begun doing it. As of last Thursday, you said you had 25 who had completed already.
At least 25 in there who have submitted it, and we can see who's working on it. And there are, I think, 60-something troops who have already started to work on it. So
that's awesome.
So
we should see a big spike in the next week or so. But one of my thoughts is, get on it sooner so you can get help if you do get stuck. But things to remember, and Kate, tell me if there are other things. Have an electronic copy of your May bank statement. And if somebody doesn't receive their statement by electronic means, what are things that they can do to turn their paper copy into an electronic copy, Kate?
So you can scan it and send it in to us. That's fine. I know that sometimes people will take a picture and attach the picture. If you do that, we might have to contact you. Sometimes when those come through, they're very gray. We can't really see the whole thing. So we might have to check back in with you. I know that there are apps that will change your picture into a attachment that would actually be functioning. I cannot recall the name of that app right now, but those are available too if you have those. But an electronic statement that you can just take and attach is the easiest way to do it. But if you don't have that, scanning it in is fine.
Right. I want to say there are free apps that turn your camera into a scanner on your cell phone if you have a smartphone. And if you're one of those folks who's still carrying a flip phone and you love that, that's awesome. But I bet your co-leader or another adult in your troop will have a phone that can do it if you don't have other means to do it.
And it's actually, the app is called Scannable, and that's one that
good job. Scannable.
Our volunteer support specialist, she said she uses it all the time. It works great. So that is the name of the app if you want to use it.
Nice. I love that. Here, let me see if I can edit and while we're here. Scannable. Okay. See, it showed up. Yay. I love it when that happens. Okay. Go back. Also, you need to know your login information for the Volunteer Toolkit. So if you are one of the folks who has not been in the Volunteer Toolkit in a while, then if you don't remember your login information, you need to call customer care to get reset. Is that true? Did I just lie?
Well, you can reset it yourself if you're in the MyGS screen.
Okay.
There's an option to reset for your password if you need to, and it will email it to you, so you can do it that way too.
Nice. So it's just like a forgot my password thing. Awesome. Then you go to the Finance tab, complete the form in the Volunteer Toolkit, have your other troops sign it and look it over before you submit, because that's what we call good manners with your sister. And it just, not that I've ever been trod on that way, but maybe. So make a point of getting your co-leader to take a peek. And when is it due? June 21st, June 21st, June 21st. Share it with your friends. So why wait? Do it now. And if you need help, first person you go to is your co-leader, your other troop signer, because if there's something you're not getting, she may get it. But your service unit treasurer is also on call to help, and start now so you give yourself time just in case. Who else would be a good resource for folks? I mean, the co-leader and the troop treasurer are the two that I think to go to first, but are there other people?
You can always call in and talk to your volunteer support specialist. We can all help you get through this and help you if you have any issues. So feel free to call if you need any assistance with this.
Nice, nice. Is customer, well, it depends on the question if customer care would be able to help them. Like,
yeah, customer care can help if you need your password reset or something like that. They can help you with that. If you have specific questions about the tab, I would talk to your volunteer support specialist.
Nice. Nice. Good. So yay. Thanks for logging in and for listening or watching. And thanks, Kate, for bringing all your brilliance about the Volunteer Toolkit to the Wednesday webinar. We're going to post this recording both on the Volunteer Swap. If you've made it to this point in it, then you know. And we're posting it on the YouTube channel so it can be shared broadly. You can share the YouTube link with your co-leader if you need to, or with friends who have other troops who need to fill out their forms too. So let's share the joy and get these things posted. Thanks for logging in, and we'll see you next week. Daisies and brownies. I don't know what we're talking about. If you got an idea, send it in.